It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad.
Do-don't.
It's great.
Do-don't.
I love it.
40 years into the future. Do-don't.
It's not even 40 years in the future anymore. It's now.
Oh, it's technically now.
Judgment Day should have happened already.
Yeah, that's right, huh? Judgment Day happened in like 1997 or 98?
If I remember correctly, they pushed the year back. They keep pushing the time because, after the first one, they didn't kill John Connor, so Judgment Day was pushed back. And then then they sent the T-800 back to help John Connor in T2, so Judgment Day got pushed back again. And then in T3, Rise of the Machines, it was pushed back yet again because the humans were able to revolt. And then according to this one, it happened in like 2017.
Oh, wow. So this happened 3 years ago, apparently.
I am glad that I picked the robots. Speaking of robots,
yes.
Have you been? I don't know how this just like lined up, but before watching this movie, before we even talked about watching this movie, I fell into a deep hole of watching the Boston Dynamics robots. Have you seen these robots?
Is this anything similar to like BattleBots?
The Boston Dynamic robots is a wing out of MIT, I believe, and they make these actual fucking robots that will blow your fucking mind, Christian.
In what sense? What do you mean?
They run, jump, flip. They can pick up boxes. They have like this dog creature that can open doors and shit. It's like it all started off kind of hokey, kind of silly at first. I think I first started seeing Boston Dynamic videos in the early 2000s. Excuse me.
I'm listening. That burp was glorious.
They have robots that can like do backflips and shit and like run like it's so fluid the way that these robots move. I gotta show you. I gotta show you something.
So scary.
It is fucking terrifying, dude. Boston Dynamic. It's already fucking. You remember the Black Mirror episode that was filmed in black and white with that like?
Oh yeah.
They make a robot that like is actually like that.
The robotic dogs.
That's got like an arm. Yes, but that's based on the Boston Dynamics robot.
Why are they being designed for warfare? Is that what it is?
They are being designed for robotic reasons, but who knows what they do. They do also have a robot that is fueled on organic matter, decaying organic matter, which is a robot designed to help clean up battlefields after war. That means this robot eats people. That's actually what it does.
That's so scary. I think that's going to snowball into
Terminator.
This is the end of humankind.
We're going to record your reactions because this is going to be great. This is called the Atlas robot. It's their first humanoid robot. And just take a look at what this guy can do. It's only 30 seconds long. And
like Wall-E with limbs.
It's like...
What?
Look at this.
He's a gymnast.
He just did a somersault. Now a front flip, spun around, doing a front flip forward, jump kick. Another roll.
This robot is a cheerleader. What is going on? This is...
Jump spin. And pose.
So fluid. Now, is someone controlling the robot actively?
No.
In real time? So it's doing it upon its own
They're telling it
accord.
like, hey, robot, do this, and this. But it's calibrating and understanding its balance. This is the first step to fucking Terminators, bro. And like, I fell into this deep, deep hole of fucking... These Boston Dynamics, the dog that they have now, like look at it run. This is the Atlas running, and like it can jump. It looks like it should be fake.
This looks like
this is real. This is 100% a real robot.
It's jogging more fluid than actual joggers.
It can jump over things if there's an obstacle in the way.
That looks like a person in the suit. This is so hard to believe right now.
They also then they test it too. They make it like pick up boxes and they try to knock the boxes. This was their first robot, the dog.
Okay, and like, what is the MPH?
28.3 miles an hour. Look at this dog. This is the first one, bro. This isn't even like...
That is straight up from Black Mirror.
Look, so here's they're testing it, like picking up boxes. You got to see the dog now, though, because the dog now is fucking...
What, they've upgraded it more?
It's...
How old was that video that you just showed me?
That one where it was running at 29 miles an hour, that was like their first prototype dog. I'd say that's probably at least 15 years old.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Look at it. And look, they sell it. They're over here fucking that spot. Look, it knows its name and shit.
So this is the dog that would potentially eat the remains of dead bodies after a battlefield.
No, this is like something that's going to help like handicap people. Like this is going to change stuff like, look, people working in industries and stuff like that.
In what sense? What will it do for someone that's handicapped?
So it can open doors. It can work. It can pick up.
Holy fuck. I don't trust it, man.
I
don't trust it one bit. As cool as it is that we are advancing this quick technologically,
This one's really gonna scare you then, because look at how strong they fucking are. First of all, look at how many there are. There's 2, 4, 6, 8 of these. They
look like a bunch of metal turkeys.
Look at them walk. 10 of these dogs.
If I were to see that out in public,
and
I
look
would
what they're
shit
pulling.
my pants. Wow.
They're pulling a Mack truck.
They are that strong?
These robots are incredible. Look, this one when it meets a real dog.
This is fucking wild. Yeah, I mean...
And this is like old now compared to what it can do now.
The real
now
dog
it has
is
like another
out.
arm on top that can like reach out and fucking open doors and shit.
What do you think is going to be the price tag on this? Like when it first gets dropped?
This is probably a $300 million.
You think 300 million? Really?
Well, right now it is, but I bet you they'll get it down to...
I wonder what the price is going to be when it normalizes.
Like if we could
it
own,
normalizes.
do you think we could own one of those? You think like drone technology?
Well, I mean, let's think about like the Tesla, for instance, right? When Elon Musk first came out with Tesla, this was start bringing up ideas of it, right?
When he first made the Roadster, that was like $1 million car.
Yeah, and like we were hearing talks of it being automatic, where you could like let it just be advanced cruise control, right? Autonomous. Yeah, you could just have it on the freeway, and you could go to sleep, or you could like play a game while it drives you to your destination. That was just a rumor, though. That was just a fucking thought, right? And now that idea was brought to fruition, and people are owning it. There are Tesla recharging stations at a lot of different places. It's crazy. So if that is possible, something like this within the next decade or two could be normalized.
AI is going to be one of the best. It's going to be one of the hardest technologies for humans to grasp.
And we're going to have to be very smart to be able to keep control of it. Because if we are creating technology that
I don't think it's going to be that hard. Because we're always going to be able to turn off the power source.
Okay. There are too many movies that exist, you think, for us to not learn from those mistakes?
I think movies are movies, bro. I think you're falling for like Hollywood.
I get a little scared.
Of course, but I don't think AI is scary because at the end of the day, who's in control of the power? We are.
Yeah.
At no point is AI going to like turn into Ultron and be like, oh. And then even if it does think humans are the plague on Earth, it's not like it's going to be able to turn into Ultron. That's pretty much my point.
I don't know.
I think worst case scenario, it's like, do you remember when Google had 2 of its AI machines tried to talk to each other? And then instead of talking to each other in English, they created their own language?
Yeah.
That's very scary.
That's terrifying.
But you know what they did? Turned it off.
Okay. As long as we always have control of an on and off switch.
Sure.
I think we'll be fine. But the hypothetical of this progressing and snowballing into something more mischievous, it's terrifying. If this artificial intelligence could have the ability to slowly learn more and more on its own, right?
Or
that's
learn
when
to
it's
be
gonna
human.
Scary. Learn to be human. And there's so many movies that depict it, and I know they're just movies, but hey, I want to just have my guard up. If my phone could track my conversations.
What if they learn like, Carl?
Yes.
Carl learned.
Yeah, and he learned to be a good person. And that's what I can hope. That's all I can hope for, really.
We got lucky. Welcome.
Hey, welcome to another episode of ICBTB Podcast. The podcast where even the worst terrible movies
horrible
can still be good.
This is not one of those. This is solidly placed in my top 10 movies, honestly.
This is fantastic.
This is one of my favorite movies. This is for sure one of the better movies we've done in a while.
Yeah. Definitely top 10 in my
top 10
list
ICBTB,
of 2020 movies. Yes.
For sure. I'd say top 5 in 2020 movies.
It's pretty solid, man. Right from the get.
Even though it's a 2019 movie.
Baddies, if you love action, if you love nostalgia, if you love fast-paced everything, check this movie out.
Even if you've never seen a Terminator movie, oh, well, cat's out of the bag. You should watch this movie because we watched Terminator Dark Fate.
That's right.
It's the most recent installment of the Terminator franchise, which we're all familiar with.
Yeah.
What I love about this film is you don't really need to know too much about Terminator.
No, but if you want to know at least enough, you could watch the first Terminator and T2
and the
Judgment
one.
Day.
Yeah, and this one picks up from where T2 left off. And kind of disregards the rest of the films. I have a whiteboard here to try and explain the timelines here, but we can get into that once we get through the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we watched a movie called Terminator Dark Fate, which was released in 2019. It is rated R and has a runtime of 2 hours, 8 minutes, or 100 and 28 minutes. I believe that's 1 minute more than what it took James Franco to cut his arm off.
That's right. He was stuck underneath that rock for 127 minutes. James Franco, you a champ.
Has a 6.2 on IMDb, an average of 6.23 on Rotten Tomatoes out of 10, and a 54% on Metacritic.
The Google users, I will guess, I think it's going to be 90%.
It's high, but it's not that high. It's 82%.
Ah, gosh. It deserves more praise than the 82.
I honestly think so. I really think it's worth... If you like Terminator...
If you like Arnold Schwarzenegger...
This is the best Terminator. Well, there's not a lot of Arnold in this one.
But I think there's enough. And it's pretty badass when he comes.
There's a good amount, yeah.
Yes.
But honestly, this is the best Terminator. Like, I love Terminator. I love T2. I do not like Rise of the Machines, and I don't like Salvation. Genesis was okay, but this one's fucking awesome. This
one is badass. You told me via text that this is metal as fuck. Literally.
And it is metal as fuck.
Literally.
Synapses coming at you.
Right at you.
In Mexico City, a newly modified liquid Terminator, the Rev 9 model, arrives from the future to kill a young factory worker named Danny Ramos. Also sent back in time is Grace, a hybrid cyborg human who must protect Ramos from the seemingly indestructible robotic assassin. But the two women soon find some much-needed help from a pair of unexpected allies, seasoned warrior Sarah Connor and the T-800 Terminator.
When I hear those drum beats, that iconic theme that is of the Terminator franchise, I get so fucking pumped.
Goosebumps.
I was working out throughout this entire movie.
This is a good workout film.
This
is one to get you going.
Definitely.
It was directed by Tim Miller, who I blew your mind earlier saying that is also the director of Deadpool.
Yep.
In fact, when he dropped out of Deadpool 2, he took this movie instead.
Nice.
It had a budget, Christian. I've got a couple numbers here, but we'll take the higher one of the two.
I'm going to choose something very specific. Just try it. I'm just going to try it. I usually go very general, but this will be specific. $373 million.
That's the box office recoup. You're guessing this without the budget. What is this number?
I was doing the box office.
You're doing the box. Okay, so the budget was $196 million.
Okay, how much did it?
You said it gained
$373 million.
It made $261 million.
Okay, I was off by $100 mil.
You were off by quite, and this movie isn't necessarily as big of a hit as they had hoped it would be, which is unfortunate because they definitely were hoping that this would do a better start of a new franchise than Genesis did.
But why do you think that it wasn't that much of a hit? Is it because
it was when it was released? It was released. They chose the time to release it when Wonder Woman dropped out in November of 2019.
Mistake.
So they took that spot instead, hoping that was what would make them more money. In fact, it was hurt by, I have it right here. It was released the same time as Harriet and Motherless Brooklyn. And it was supposed to be the bigger of the three, but all three of those movies didn't really pan out to be as big as anybody
None
expected.
of them?
No.
It was just a bad weekend for all of them.
Motherless Brooklyn was that Edward Norton film that he wrote and directed and starred in. And then Harriet was the movie about Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, and you would think that would blow up, yeah.
It seems like there was a little bit for everybody there at the movie theaters, but nobody wanted to watch anything.
Yeah, fuck, guys, go to the movies. COVID didn't hit yet. You could have gone to the movies.
Yeah, it just barely broke even, and I think because of that, we're not going to see another one. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. This was a fantastic Terminator movie. Check it out.
It is truly. It starts off right at the top with murdering the fuck out of John Connor.
Yes.
The one person who we were supposed to love and trust and care for throughout all of the Terminator
films.
The
little kid from American History X who played John Connor back in the 90s. They used the de-aging technology that they used in The Irishman and in Genesis, man.
But they used it a lot.
Or Gemini Man.
They used it a lot better in this one.
Yes, it looked real good in this one.
Even it didn't. Young Linda Hamilton
looked pretty good, man.
Even young John Connor,
young Arnold.
Well,
they
that was
all
just
looked
Arnold's
pretty good.
Face.
Arnold's face on a buff body.
But they've used that guy's body before. We've seen that he's been Arnold's body double for the last 3 Terminators.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's still that big?
Well, he's got the Arnold body, bro.
I guess you got to keep it, yeah, because Arnold, even as an older man, still big.
He's fairly short.
How tall is he?
He's not 6 feet.
5'11" at least?
No, like sub 5'6".
Really? They make him look so much taller.
Arnold's a really short guy.
Don't say sub 5'6". Really?
Arnold's a short guy.
I cannot believe it. I think at least 5'10". Have you seen that man on screen?
That's exactly it. How tall do you think Tom Cruise is, bro?
I know Tom Cruise is like 5 foot, but
Tom Cruise is 3'2".
I believe Tom Cruise is about a ruler length of a height.
So 12 inches?
Yeah, he's 12 inches tall.
A ruler length of a height.
I didn't know. I don't know. I was trying to structure that sentence better.
He is 4'8".
Shut the fuck up, dude. What? Are you looking at an action figure of him?
Oh,
what
I'm
is
so
it?
sorry. I was looking at the 16-inch figure. He's 6'2".
He's 6'2"?
He's 6'2".
That's why I had to fucking double check, because no way is Arnold Schwarzenegger, a man of that girth, only 5'6".
Well, I mean, Lou Ferrigno's not that tall.
Yeah, but Lou Ferrigno looks kind of short. Arnold looks tall.
Big muscular guys generally aren't tall, especially bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Bodybuilders aren't. That's why he was such a pivotal, Mr. Universe when Arnold became, Mr. Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did he have 24-inch fucking biceps, but he was also just like an Adonis of a man.
Yeah. Oh, people loved him. I think it was you. Someone told me that during his stardom, when he was just starring in all these action roles, he was just fucking girls in his trailers all of the time.
Yeah, Arnold could not put his penis away.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought this film was a little bit analogous to his real life, where Carl, the T-800, is living with a Mexican woman and their love child.
Yeah.
Much like Arnold Schwarzenegger and his love child.
Yep.
But
Come on, Governor.
Hey.
He couldn't put it away for a second?
I don't think that child was conceived in office.
While he was in office,
I think it just came out. I don't know, man.
I don't know. If it was during or after, you think that he would have his shit together enough to not make a love child with someone other than his wife.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But
also, who's going to say no to that big of a man? I'm scared of him. I
hope it wasn't a scary thing.
I hope. I'm sure.
Yes, I hope it was more of like an irresistible thing.
No, yeah. I mean, a man of that stature and who held that much
Let's get back to the movie.
Yes.
They've used Arnold face swap with this guy in the past before, and it didn't look as good. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was Terminator Salvation. They fight a T-800, and it was like one of the early face swaps. And I didn't think that one looked very good.
They just used Photoshop or deep fake, and that's it.
It was shallow fake. That's how early it was. But this one looks really good.
Really solid. It's only like about a minute long that you see de-aged Arnold.
But then we cut to modern day Mexico City.
Yes.
And we are introduced to a woman named Grace, who is like I had said earlier, a cyborg augmented.
And she had fallen from the sky, went through a bridge. You see her looking like a snack, might I say.
Well, she is naked.
She's fit. She's naked, and she's a soldier, so we only expect top-notch physicality. And she's badass right from the beginning.
She takes out like 10 cops.
Yeah, just because since she's augmented, she could sense that they all got weapons. So
she takes out the danger.
Yeah, took out the danger.
And then robs a man.
Which is a common theme in Terminator movies, that these soldiers from the future or robots from the future come out of the sky naked and always say, "Give me your clothes."
You know why they come out naked, right?
Well, because that's the only way that they can time travel, and they're all born naked, right?
No.
This is from a YouTube video that I was watching. Okay, why are they naked?
They show up naked because supposedly in their time travel machines, only organic material can be sent back in time.
Which is why Arnold in the first movie has to be covered in flesh to cover his metal inside.
So that's why clothes doesn't. But if that is true, then also hair and fingernails shouldn't have gone through either.
Oh, are those not considered organic?
They're not considered living.
Oh, I guess so. What, the hair in our head? It's currently living unless it's gray, right?
The follicle's real. No, gray hair is still, but like the follicle is alive. But the hair,
So you want them to come?
I'm just
fingernailless.
Saying, hey, Neil deGrasse Tyson's the one who ruined that one for me, bro. If that's the rules, if they're setting up rules like this, they got to follow all of them.
Damn it, Neil.
He ruins movies for people.
Okay, well, let's get back to it. So this movie wastes no time.
Grace shows up, and also at the same time, a Rev 9 shows up. Rev 9 is a Terminator-esque robot that is created by a company called Legion.
Yes.
That what we're supposed to understand is instead of Cyberdyne?
Skynet.
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 Well, Skynet is the name of the AI. But the name of the company that created Skynet was Cyberdyne.
Okay.
That's why he, like, when they ask him what he is, he's like, I'm a Cyberdyne Series 1 model T-800.
You know more about this than I do, so I'm not going to rebuttal. Really. Just the other day, I watched half of the first Terminator for the first time in
It's great.
Over a decade.
I honestly think everybody should watch T1 right now.
Yes, do it.
It's such a good film. And I told you too, I was like, I always thought of it as kind of hokey, but only because the graphics and the computers weren't quite up to par.
I mean, it's the mid-'80s.
88.
Yes.
And but this movie has all the technology and all the CGI and uses it perfectly.
Wow.
Let's get to my favorite scene.
Let's do it.
When Linda Hamilton comes out of the car, when she fights the Rev 9, her introduction
entrance
to the film,
she comes through in a truck, has a shotgun.
The Rev 9 has this ability of splitting itself into two different beings,
which is crazy.
One is the fleshy nanobots that it can control and change its outer, and then the other part is the bare bones of the Rev 9 robot.
Yes, its foundation.
And so it can split itself into two at its will. So it's a liquid like the T-1000, but it's also a solid like the T-800. And
yes,
if you're into Terminator, then that makes sense. And if you're not, hey,
sorry,
tough titties.
Figure it out.
Watch the fucking movie because it's great.
Yes.
Linda doesn't give a fuck. She's shooting both of them.
Oh yeah. This is not her first rodeo for sure.
She's got her 100-shot shotgun.
Yes, never runs out of ammo. And I don't even care how unrealistic that part was because she does
run out of ammo. She does. In the back of the C5. Remember? She tosses the gun to Danny and she's like, it's out. And Danny tosses her another one.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So, again.
It does work.
So good. Linda Hamilton's entrance is my favorite scene.
And at the age of 64, Linda Hamilton.
64?
She's 64, dude. She could still get it.
Real badass.
She is such a badass. She is in top-notch shape for this. It's like believable that she could kind of get through this movie physically.
Truly like what I would have imagined Sarah Connor would have become.
Yes, good haircut, by the way. Shout out to her
hair designer
stylist. Yes.
Hey, you know what? Everybody deserves a credit.
Gotta look good when you're killing Terminators all day.
The brother, I do want to shout this out real quick. Danny's brother.
Diego.
Diego has a very short role. But he
Diego.
That actor also plays Luis Miguel in the Netflix Luis Miguel series.
Oh, wow.
And he's a really good actor.
And you're a fan of Luis Miguel. You got a shirt
of
Luis Miguel.
I have an OG Luis Miguel shirt. But
your mom's shirt.
It is my mother's shirt. Thank you.
That's okay.
It's, you know what? Clothing doesn't have a gender.
No, it's just cloth at the end of the day.
What I do love about this film, speaking of gender, is a lot of stuff that's going on right now is like the reboot. I call it the girl reboot.
Yes.
Right, where they do like Ocean's 11 or where they're doing Ghostbusters and they're kind of like really cramming down our throat that they're making this movie, but with girls this time instead.
Yeah.
This movie, I guess you could look at this from the outside and say that they're doing the same thing, but it's not done badly. Like, I think it's really, really good. The fact that they use a woman-centric lead for like the 3 lead roles.
Yes.
And they do it without it being sappy.
Yeah,
whereas
it's
like
not
where the Ghostbusters and the Orange or Ocean's 11 kind of got that way for me.
Yeah, it's just the perfect balance. I think it's good to have Linda Hamilton and Grace being the top billed actresses in this, and Danny's actress too.
Linda and Arnold were the top 2.
Oh, were they the top 2?
Arnold,
of course, Arnold.
Second,
you know, I always
billed.
forget because spoiler alert: Arnold doesn't come into the movie until like over an hour in.
And this is the only Terminator that Arnold's in where he's not top billed.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. Linda Hamilton is an incredible actress, and you know, women all across the board should be given more money and respect, but you know, not at the cost of my Ghostbusters.
No. Was that franchise destroyed for you?
That movie just sucked. That movie just was not good.
Not funny.
Right? Girl Ghostbusters was just not good. But Girl Terminator, fucking awesome.
Good.
Because they also did the great thing where I was afraid that they were going to boil down Danny Ramos's character to being a new Sarah Connor.
Yes.
I was afraid it was going to be like where Force Awakens was such a clear metaphor for original Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where I was afraid this one was going to be it, and they don't. They do kind of have you start to think it, and then right near the end, they pull it out and they're like, she's not Mother Mary.
Well, it's too easy to kind of just rewrite that script into this movie. So they're like...
But that's what people do.
It's feminist forward with making, why would she have to bear the child that is a boy that is the hero?
Boil it down.
Where in 2020, it's going to be her. She's the girl that is the hero.
And we keep saying girl, we mean woman.
Woman. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
I have a... Yeah. But I love the fact that she wasn't boiled down, because I always kind of felt bad that Sarah Connor was always boiled down to just the mother.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it was her womb that they were protecting.
Yeah. It wasn't. They didn't even really care about Sarah Connor. They really just cared about John Connor.
Dude, Linda Hamilton's killing it. Like I said, just last night, watched half of the first Terminator. To see the difference in her acting chops from 1988 to 2019, boy, what a difference. And she wasn't even bad in the first Terminator.
She's great.
But now she's just like, she's been through it. She's really honed her acting chops. And it really comes off.
And I wonder if that comes with just knowing a character for that long. Being so famous for a character like Sarah Connor. I mean, we went to school with a girl named Sarah Connor, and her brother's name was John Connor because their parents loved the fucking Terminator so much.
You're fucking kidding, right?
Yeah, swear to God.
Really?
Hand to God.
I've never met these.
You don't remember Sarah?
No, not Sarah Connor.
Yeah, dude.
And I feel like I would know her brother, John Connor.
Yes, we can. It's in the yearbook, dude. We went to high school with people.
I'm going to fucking
Sarah
flip a table.
John
How did I not know this?
I don't think she went by Sarah.
Oh, because of the movie?
And then, like, when people started finding out, that was like the whole kind of thing.
I go by
Sarah
Young
Connor.
S.
I don't think she was a rapper, but I guess so. What was one of your favorite scenes in this film?
One of the first fight scenes, dude. So Diego and Danny, they both work at this automotive factory in Mexico City, where a bunch of symbolism in this movie, where they are slowly being replaced by machinery, robots, and technology, right? Just like a little top of the...
Very timely.
Yes. And so in the middle of that, the Rev 9 comes in as disguised as their father, who the Rev 9 just killed, and about to shoot Danny. And from the cuts comes Grace with a shotgun and like shoots the Rev 9. And so that first fight scene was dope because eventually Grace picks up a sledgehammer. This was my favorite
Before
part.
she gets there, when she shoots him about 6 or 7 times. She unloads a shotgun on him. The way the Rev 9 gets up. Do you remember how he because he kind of falls down. One of my favorite parts about the Rev 9 is the Rev 9 may not feel pain, but is reacting to like bullets and shit like that. Like the T-1000, the liquid Terminator that they would shoot, like it didn't matter. It didn't matter what the fuck you were doing to him because the bullets just didn't. But like bullets really affect the Rev 9.
Yes, you see
and I loved how there was real ramifications of the fight, but the Rev 9 could overcome it. So the Rev 9 like grows its skin back over its
wounds
shell and then stands up in the scariest Exorcist style way and then has this fucking awesome fight with Grace where she grabs that hammer and she fucking dodges the head cut, jumps up
and smashes him in the face 20 times with the sledgehammer.
There's a part where his head is like against the wall and then she hits him again with the hammer. It's so violent, but so satisfying.
The action choreography and just all of the angles and the way it was shot was so satisfying. There's like a lot of like action movies out there where the camera's shaky and you don't really see much happening.
Because they're hiding the stunt double.
Yes. You don't want to see their face. But here, I mean, they have the technology to just really see the head of that sledgehammer go into that guy's face.
I think because most of the Rev 9 is probably CGI anyways.
They're like, okay, let's do it.
Let's just,
And once again, to see the technology contrast from the
Terminator,
80s. Because the original Terminator, you would see, it was one of those movies where you would see them shooting guns, but you wouldn't see the guy get shot. You just see them like kind of fall and scream, right? They didn't want to spend money to kind of show the wounds or a lot of blood. But here you're seeing everything.
Well, and Terminator originally was like a cheaply made film. When James Cameron made the original Terminator, he was not James Cameron.
No.
Like he was just starting out. And
he was an ambitious filmmaker.
Yeah, and like I have this idea of like a time traveling, like yada yada. I want to ask you, not to detract from the movie too much, but about this like time travel paradox of if Danny had never sent Grace back to defend her, would any of this have happened anyways? It's this paradox of like the Beethoven paradox, right? Where it's, let's say you grew up loving Beethoven, he's your favorite musician ever. You know all of his works. You've studied his music. You've studied his piano playing, and then you find a time machine. And so the first thing you do is you go back in time to meet Beethoven. So you go back in time to Vienna, and you get there, and nobody's ever heard of Beethoven. Nobody knows Beethoven. He doesn't exist. So you play the music for his Beethoven, and you start playing that music and show everybody the music of Beethoven, thus creating
So very much similar to the plot of Yesterday, right? I mean, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Where I would take that role.
So then the question is like, are you Beethoven? Or where did you not quite yesterday, because the question is, where did you first hear Beethoven then?
Yeah.
Were you hearing real Beethoven, or were you hearing you going back in time and playing music?
Oh man, I don't know, man.
They kind of
I don't know how this would really work. Like, would it all have happened? What you're asking is, would it all have happened if Grace ended up?
Yeah, so they kind of answer
Not
that
going
question
back
with
in
the
time.
T-800 of like, because he kills John Connor in the very beginning, the T-800 doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Except for that one.
That's it. Just that one. Do you remember T2 pretty easily?
Yeah, for the most part.
What happens to that T-800?
That's the one that melts.
Okay, so that one doesn't exist. That's the good Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There's so many. Well, from what we're supposed to understand in this film, they sent multiple T-800s back in time to kill John Connor, and throughout the years, Sarah Connor was killing these different variations of the T-800.
Yeah.
So, like, even the Pops T-800 from Terminator Genesis is a different T-800 than this one.
Yeah. They're not. It's not all the same. Yeah, I get that. Like this, but this specific one that plays Carl, that is Carl, is the one that does kill John Connor.
Correct.
That's another one.
And what I didn't pick up until reading it later, because the reason why he's able to learn is because after killing John Connor, his systems should have shut down, right? But we actually don't know what happens to the Terminator after he succeeds in his mission, because we've never actually seen the Terminator succeed in his mission. What happens is, as soon as the Terminator succeeds in its mission,
it shuts off because that's all it was set to do.
But it doesn't. The T-800 turned itself from what's called a read-only operating system to a read-write operating system, where he can now learn and teach his AI how to love and feel and have emotions. That's a retcon. That was the only retcon in this film that I didn't 100% like.
Really? Yeah. I might be in disagreement with you in that sense.
Well, I don't think they explained it enough in the film. I had to read about that separately to understand why Carl learned how to love.
Because if they explained it a little bit more, I mean, I guess it could have been a bit longer of a film. It was already past 2 hours, right?
Hey man, I wouldn't have mind watching 3 hours of this.
Yeah, no, this was a solid movie.
Yeah, I would have watched 3 hours of T.
I do like that. So when Arnold first comes into the movie, we see him in his cabin. You see his little white van that says Carl's Draperies. And I think Arnold's acting has gotten way better, for sure. It's not as forced as it was before, dude. Really? Let's say him and Jingle All the Way. Like here, he's a little more stoic.
Jingle All the Way is not good, Arnold. But like T2 Arnold and like Predator Arnold, and he had some solid. Of course, they're not like Shakespearean acting levels. You know what I mean? They're not.
Well, yeah, because those are like 80s and 90s action flicks, right?
But nowadays he's not making the best films either, though. Like Killing Gunther is not a end all be all Arnold Schwarzenegger film. Like he's not Daniel Day-Lewising it.
But like in this film, like you can see, I was thinking that he did a great job acting like a robot trying to be a part of society.
I was gonna say, I think it's tough playing the Terminator because at one point you have to remember that your character doesn't have emotions, yet the T-800's like always trying to like learn emotions like that
constantly.
Like
he spent
John
20
Connor's
years
trying to teach him how to high five in T2. Emilia Clarke's trying to teach Pops how to be a person, like in Genesis. Like that's a very common trope of like, I don't have feelings, teach me feelings. Yeah. But this one does it very well and makes it very funny.
And I was curious as to why it was like so funny and mechanical how he was handing them beers when they were inside of his cabin. And it's because, yes, he's doing a great job acting like a robot trying to be a human. Like this is what humans do.
Yeah,
like I offer you a beer. This is how we are casual. We sit out in the front and we talk and like, yes, I have a family. And even the way he was talking to Danny later on in the film about his drapery business. That's my
favorite scene, actually.
It's so funny.
It was actually, part of that was improv.
Really?
So the line was only scripted to him saying, I once had a client who had a daughter who just wanted blank drapes.
Yeah.
That's the end of the line. And then there was going to cut to something else. But Arnold kept going and be like, but I told him no. I said, if it's a little girl's room, you should have polka dots or butterflies, balloons.
So great. So funny. And that's awesome that was improvised.
I would love to have like gone to Carl to get drapes and him being like, no, you want balloons.
Dude, I love Confident Carl. Confident Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie, especially when he's talking to the gang about why his wife loves him. He says, like they all ask.
It's not sexual.
Yeah, they all ask, like, don't they know that you're a robot? Like, how can they love you if you're not human? He says, well, I'm a good listener. I know how to change diapers without complaining. And I'm extremely funny. And, like, none of them laugh.
I'm very humorous.
Very humorous.
I love what...
funny.
That's something that comes up in every Terminator movie where, like, a Terminator tries to make a joke and nobody laughs. The other... Like, this movie does really good at, like, tropes of, like, calling back... Because Terminator is such a long-running franchise, there was a million Easter eggs that they threw in there, like, when Danny's brother tells Grace to drive faster... You know what I mean? It's like, what do you mean drive faster? Like, she's not trying to drive as fast as she can? Or
like, this is all I'm pretty sure her pedal's to the metal.
Or come with me or you're going to die in the next 30 seconds.
Yes.
Like, they do little things like that. I won't be back.
I won't be. Yeah. Well,
he
because
doesn't put on the sunglasses.
Since this is supposed to be a reboot, a retcon, and they know a lot of OG fans are going to come to see this, they have to allocate some time to fan service.
And they did a great job of, like, even if they make another sequel, I would be fine if Arnold's not in the next sequel.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they've already established that the T-800 doesn't exist anymore because...
He's the last living model.
Because Skynet doesn't exist anymore. Because Cyberdyne doesn't exist anymore.
Because that's not the universe that is existent anymore because of Sarah Connor. Watch the movie if you're confused.
I mean, I hate that part of the Terminator franchise, but I also love that part of the Terminator franchise.
It's a love-hate thing, dude, because obviously, if you introduce time loops and time travel into a franchise, how many loopholes are there?
Well, I'm going to try and break it down for us here. I went ahead and I stole this whiteboard from work, so thank you, Sam. I'll bring it back tomorrow. And I'm going to try and do my best to explain for the baddies and for you, my friend, the Terminator timelines, thus how I understand it.
Okay.
We have the original Terminator. I'm going to call it T1. I'm going to put a little I there.
Okay.
Okay, so the Terminator timeline is the story of a T-800 that is sent back in time by Skynet to kill Sarah Connor from having her son, John Connor, who is the leader. Yeah.
He's not the chosen one.
He created the resistance.
Yes.
And so that's T1. T2 is the Terminator sequel. Where
did you bring this whiteboard to just write to the titles? So
T2 and then Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, these are all in the same timeline. These all still make sense. Terminator Salvation takes place in an alternate timeline. So Salvation, that's a backwards S. Salvation, that's the one where Christian Bale is John Connor.
Okay.
So that has its own storyline. Then there's Terminator Genesis, which has its own timeline and brings us back to like not even a T3 timeline, to a T4-ish timeline where Salvation doesn't exist.
Wow.
And then Dark Fate has its own timeline that takes off directly from T2 and erases all of this shit.
They were just getting rid of all of the sequels that happened afterwards.
So all the shit that we just spent 20 years learning and caring about.
Get rid of it. It's either... And they could get away with it because
it's time travel.
It's time travel.
All they have to do is just go...
In this universe, it doesn't happen. In this universe, Christian Bale does not exist.
I do like that they established that every Terminator that goes back and does a job or fails at a job thus spawns a new universe. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see what happens to the Pops T-800. Like, I want to see what he was doing when we weren't, when he was just living in San Francisco. I want to see Carl when he's building this drapery business and also like a armory.
I'm down for a sitcom for Carl and Carl's draperies, dude.
I just want to see what all the T-800s are doing because apparently there's a million of them. I just want to see like a Black Mirror style. Every episode is a different T-800.
I want to try something out.
Okay, go.
So in the movie, we see Carl's work van. Mm-hmm. It says Carl's Draperies, and it has a number on that van.
I think it's a 555 number.
It's a number that you can call.
Really?
You can actually call it.
Are you going to call it right now?
I'm going to call it right now. I took a screenshot of the number.
This is the best day of my life.
And we're going to see what it says.
I hope someone answers.
So the number is, for you baddies out there, if you want to try it out for yourselves, it is 888-512-1984. So I'm going to go ahead and try that.
I'm wondering if these are any special dates.
You're trying to find a conspiracy theory within this?
Well, I mean, 1984, that seems like a very specific... But I was at first, I thought maybe that's the date of the first movie. But I believe the first movie came out in 88. 94 was when the sequel came out.
Okay. Calling it.
Oh my God. This is awesome.
That's creepy. What the fuck?
Did it hang up on you?
It says user busy.
Because everybody's calling him. Call him again.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah, I got this from a YouTube video, and they said if you call this, Arnold picks up.
What?
As Carl, and even gives you an hasta la vista, baby, at the end of it.
Oh, man.
So
God,
the number
I wish
does
that
exist.
worked.
Users busy.
God, I wish
because
that worked.
other people are calling this.
Of course.
And I'm not surprised. I'm going to try one more time.
It's like the numbers from Departed and stuff like that when you used to be able to call it.
Which is so cool. One more time, and then I'll put it away forever if it doesn't work.
No wonder. It's so worth the $196 million.
Oh, fucking Arnold.
We'll have to look it up online because I love it, man.
That's cool. Yeah, it exists, though, so it's not a 555 number.
So good.
And for you listeners out there that don't know what we mean by saying a 555 number, usually when fake phone numbers are put out there and they have 3 5s within the 11 digits or the 10 digits, it's not a working number. It's just for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they try to do so that you're not like calling a random number being like, hey, can I talk to Sherlock Holmes?
Sorry, this is Sarah.
Fuck you, Sarah. Do you want to play our favorite game real quick since we're getting near the end of the episode? And
let's do it, yeah.
We're going to play the favorite game with our man Arnold.
Yes.
I pulled up a bunch of his stuff, but I didn't look at a lot. I mean, the first 3 were Terminator movies anyways. So.
Okay, we cannot say any of the Terminator movies then?
I mean,
or are those
we
fair
can,
play?
but we can throw. I mean, those are gonna be the first ones to go.
All right, then I'm gonna go with obviously.
But full names:
Terminator: Dark Fate.
Nice. Terminator.
T2 Judgment Day. Is that wrong?
Yeah.
T2 Judgment Day.
It's just T2. Isn't it Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines?
You got the thing in front of you.
But then I'm gonna see other titles.
Fine. Just let me pass.
You're right. It is Judgment Day.
Okay. Boom,
cool.
baby.
Then T3: Rise of the Machines.
Twins.
Nice. Kindergarten Cop.
I just watched
come on,
one.
Dude.
I just watched one.
You also just said
Last
one.
Action Hero.
Nice. Jingle All the Way.
Nice. I'm gonna go with. Dude, what's the one with the 3-tittied lady? I just watched it.
That's my next one.
I just watched it.
Oh man, I love when I win.
Holy fuck! Wait, give me a second.
Just think about it. You have to bring it all back.
I'm just gonna do True Lies.
Total Recall.
Total Recall. That's the fucking movie, dude. Killing Gunther.
That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Batman and Robin.
Predator.
Nice. Very nice. What was the one with Johnny Knoxville?
That's right.
Fuck it. Hercules in New York.
Nice. Like his first one where they had to dub him.
We should do that one for the show.
Oh, man. I don't know if I could get through that movie.
There's a character in there who like sells pretzels. Pretzy.
Pretzy, the pretzel man?
It's so sad because you know when that movie's over, Pretzy man's trying to tell people about how he met Hercules and everyone's like, you're fucking crazy,
You're
bro.
fucking stupid.
Anyways, Arnold movies.
Did you just went, right? Okay. I got it.
Hercules in New York.
I got it. Conan the Barbarian.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Thank you very much.
He is also in a movie with...
Yeah, you got this.
Hang on. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That was a terrible fart, man. If it stinks in here.
No, my farts don't smell.
No, shut up, dude. Your farts smell.
No, they don't.
Okay, stop buying time. Because you know I'm winning right now.
It's not like you're one above me. Yes, you're right.
And it's not like I'm thinking of a title as this is going on too.
Do you have one?
No.
Fuck, okay, I gotta have one then.
Baddies out there playing this game too.
I know, and they're kicking me right now because
they're screaming at us, dude.
What if I could just listen to what the baddies are screaming in their car right now?
Yes.
They're screaming the name.
What is it?
Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
What?
No, I don't know. I just had to come up with an answer.
Okay, that means I win.
Yes, you do.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Hand me the belt.
Ding, ding, ding. Oh, man, I'm already seeing one.
Okay, let's see it. Let's see. What is there?
Commando.
Fucking Commando.
So right off the top, Terminator, Terminator 2, Predator, Total Recall, True Lies, Kindergarten Cop. We said all of those. Last Action Hero.
Yep.
Conan. Twins, Last Stand. I was right. It is called
Okay.
Last Stand. Jingle All the Way, The Running Man,
The Running Man.
Red Heat, Pumping Iron, fucking Eraser.
But would Pumping Iron would
should
that count?
That's
a doc.
technically it's not.
No?
It's actually based on a book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
but,
take
but
it
it
back.
follows Lou Ferrigno. Sabotage. Did we ever do Sabotage?
No.
That's such a crazy.
Dude, I was
violent
thinking
film.
of the Expendables.
But he's only a cameo in Expendables 2.
Okay, but he's fully in the first one, right?
No, no, he's only a cameo in Expendables 2.
Uh-huh.
And then he's full on in Expendables 3.
Okay. Was he in Office when he did that cameo?
Yes.
That's why he wasn't in.
That's why he wasn't in Expendables, because he was still in Office. That's why it was just a cameo.
Can you do movies while you're in Office?
You're not supposed to that would be a job, and because he's a SAG actor, he would have to get paid union wages, and you're not supposed to get paid from other
anything else,
people or corporations.
So
or have a side job if you're in a public office.
So if you're president, mayor, governor, you can't sell T-shirts on the side.
No, that's like super. Well, I mean, your campaign can, but you're not supposed to be making money based on the office. That's why Donald Trump isn't selling
his MAGA hats and getting money straight into his pocket for it.
He is.
Is he getting money somehow?
But he's
right?
not. But he's not selling the Trump hotels haven't become Trump presidential hotels.
I see
that would be illegal because he's using the office of the president to better his businesses.
Okay.
Which he is still anyways. But
let's see what else is on here.
Isn't
there a movie where his daughter becomes a zombie?
Days? Oh, I don't know. What do you think that one's called?
I don't know. My daughter's a zombie.
T2 3D Battle Across Times. That was the live show in Universal Studios that I was just telling you about.
Oh,
that was dope as fuck. Christmas in Connecticut. I never seen that one.
I've heard of stupid fucking rumors or just urban myths that Arnold Schwarzenegger, he worked out so much that he would have a picture of beer for his carbs, for his macros.
I wouldn't be,
which wouldn't work. I don't think it
could.
I think those are empty carbs. I don't know how it works.
I mean, it would be I have heard actually drinking beer after workouts is something that people do, but I also would 100% believe if that's something that Arnold did, because one, he's Austrian.
Yes.
So they love beer out there in Austria and Belgium and Germany. Yeah. And especially in the 70s and 80s, I'm sure beer was probably one of the cleaner carbs he could have had.
Oh, I guess so. I mean, he could, whatever he did, it fucking worked for him because not only was he thick, but he was cut as hell.
I mean, he's got the perfect body.
All right. I need to ask you, who wins T-800, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Robocop? OG Robocop.
Damn. The T-800.
You think so?
The T-800, but new Robocop versus the Rev 9. I got to give it to the Rev 9.
Oh, Rev 9 is almost unstoppable.
Well, not really.
I mean, obviously, at the end of this movie, spoiler, here's Rev 9 dies.
The bad guy loses in this one.
Who would have thought?
But yeah, I think OG, T-800, but new school, Rev 9.
Okay, yeah. Rev 9 could really fuck shit up with those blade arms.
RoboCop just doesn't have enough. New RoboCop's got quite a bit more. But
new RoboCop got a motorcycle that goes real fast and all the technology.
Old RoboCop had a car.
Okay. I don't know.
You know how we can figure this out?
What?
Mortal Kombat.
That's right.
You can
both
play
RoboCop
and
T-800.
And then winner has to fight Rambo.
Is Rambo in Mortal Kombat?
Yep.
Wow, Mortal Kombat just using a lot of characters that aren't from Mortal Kombat anymore.
I love it. I'm all about it, bro. I want to see.
I'm all about it too.
The Joker's in Mortal Kombat 11 also.
Yeah, this is true. This movie's action-packed.
Yeah, of course.
And my favorite aspects of this movie are the action-packed scenes. The car chases, fucking phenomenal, where they're throwing metal rods at each other.
When they're that is a great scene.
Yeah.
Also, I was gonna say when Arnold's leading out his car, leading out of the van, shooting at the Rev 9, and the Rev 9 is just taking these shots while he's the actor who plays the Rev 9. I don't know how he filmed this, but it's the way his body's reacting to these gunshots and effect. Yet he's still running towards the target. It's such a weird zombie.
It's
has
scary
to get to his target thing that is just done so well by this actor.
He's tunnel visioned, laser focused on his target. He will do anything and everything to take down Danny.
Doesn't matter.
What's even scarier is that he could he was charming. Rev 9 was charming. He was able to throw on the Texan accent, that little Southern twang.
When he was a Border Patrol agent, they're like, you have to register your gun. And he's like, all right. And then they go to a metal detector. He's like, my whole body's a weapon.
Yeah,
and the guy's like,
my whole body's a weapon.
For the women.
And it beeps and he says, got a metal hip, 2 tours in Afghanistan. And like, how do you not say no to a veteran that just says that? Are you going to really question this person in uniform already?
Not in Texas, you ain't.
Nope. They even make a joke. Remember when Arnold shows his shed full of
They're like, why do you have
guns?
all these weapons? And he's like, based on my probability aspects, I figured that this country would collapse in about 12% probability. And also, this is Texas.
This is Texas.
That I just love.
It is really cool that Arnold has the ability to calculate scenarios, the probability of whether or not something will happen.
That's a great computing factor that like the T-800 is very capable of.
It's fucking awesome. Other things I want to point out. I was talking to a coworker. Shout out Joel if you're listening to this. He was telling me that about all the symbolism there was that James Cameron was putting into the first Terminator. So in the first Terminator, when Arnold comes out naked and he sees those 3 punks just chilling outside, he like punches one of the dudes and he hits his back toward metal bars, and that was supposed to be symbolic of like of a jail cell and like how humankind is surrounded and already entrapped by metal machinery. The club that Linda Hamilton escapes to in the first Terminator, the theme is almost jail cell or like
it is like
punk steampunkish, right? With like metal. And that's another thing that James Cameron was like, okay, we want them constantly surrounded by metal as a metaphor that you are surrounded by, you know, machinery, robots, the future.
The Uzi that he uses in that nightclub scene.
Yes.
You can see over his shoulder in the armory.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. It may not be the exact same Uzi, but it's the same.
But it's just like a tip of the hat to that moment. Yeah. Even the detainees from the Border Patrol, of the people trying to immigrate to the U.S., that symbolism, like constantly being cooped up and entrapped by metal.
Yeah.
James Cameron's thinking about it all, dude.
James Cameron, I love James Cameron for some of the work that he's put out, but I do also know like sometimes he can be a major douche about his films.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like,
very fart sniffy is what you like to call it, right?
Yeah. I was talking about Joss Whedon's Much Ado About Nothing, and how I was like, this movie, like, well, it's very good because it's Shakespeare, and at the end of the day, I'll always love Shakespeare. It's very like, look at how artsy-fartsy I am, and it's like, I'm over it, like.
Yeah, it's only for those
me out of it.
Major film buffs that are looking for the very small things.
Yeah, like I could see somebody watching that Much Ado About Nothing and being like, this is what cinema's supposed to be. And then like scoffing at Terminator Dark Fate.
This is not what cinema's supposed to be.
That's so silly. And it's like, no, actually, Terminator Dark Fate's metal as fuck, bro.
This is really cool. You could watch this.
Awesome. You know what you're getting into.
Oh, yeah.
You know it's Terminator. You know it's Good Hat versus Black Hat. You know it's robots in time travel. Like, and it does it all very, very well.
Very well. You're not going to be bored at any moment.
No.
The acting is great. Mackenzie Davis, I believe, is the girl that plays Grace. Killing it.
My only critique of this film is I wish Hollywood wasn't so squeamish of having a lesbian lead, because I think Grace and Danny definitely had an unspoken love that they just kind of barely wink at in this film.
I think it was too subtle for me to even note. I wasn't even thinking about it, but I guess I could see how that is.
I mean, why else would Grace be so determined to save Danny's life?
Well, because Danny was the future. Also, Danny saved Grace's life later on in the future.
And why would Danny save Grace's life if Danny didn't already love Grace?
But that doesn't mean, I mean, like, that could be a love that isn't romantic. I could save your life and you could save my life, and I'm not going to, say, let's hold hands. No, dude. No, we don't have to.
I just think that I think Hollywood was a little squeamish because it would have changed. That would have become the whole thing of Terminator, was the fact that they had a lesbian lead. But I think that would have added to the characters. It was something that I was already reading into without it having to be too out there.
You're right. They should have done it. Oh, because this was very recent. This is 2019. At that point, the society's already progressive enough to be like, yeah, I get it. Two lesbian leads. That's fine.
Would it have been too much where people are like, let me get this straight. You're rebooting Terminator with girl leads and they're lesbians? I think that's
the problem is how machismo
Terminator
Terminator
fans.
franchise was, you know,
And
like
they are.
Arnold on a motorcycle, like shooting the fuck out of shit.
Because Terminator up until now has always been a guy's film.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm going to watch this with the boys.
Well, did you read any reviews about this film?
No.
People were hating on it because a lot of reviews that I read about it, they're like, I feel like they wasted all my time for 5 movies telling us how much John Connor was important, and then they kill him in the first 2 minutes. Like, nobody could get over the fact that they killed John Connor in the movie. And it's just like,
sorry, dude,
get the fuck over it, bro. Like, this is just a different story.
This is a different timeline.
But I think a lot of guys couldn't get past the fact that they'd spent their childhood caring or being involved with this character, that they felt like they were losing something. And I think that, again, the worst part about the Joker film is the fans. The worst part about Star Wars is the fans. The worst part about Terminator is the fans.
It's not the movie. And, you know, once you make such a great franchise and you keep upping the standards more and more and they get more and more invested and you try to make a slight turn, a change, you know, you just make a bold move, you're it's a gamble.
People off, for sure.
You know, objectively speaking, this movie on a surface level, without even knowing the franchise, is solid. If I were to watch this and not know what was going on, if I had zero context, I'd be like,
great film.
This is great. Time travel. You got robots. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But those are all things that we like would enjoy in a film anyways, right?
Regardless. Yeah, exactly.
I could see somebody, let's say you're an alien who comes down to Earth, and Terminator is like the first franchise that like is put in front of your face. You could watch this film and then be like, this is great.
Yeah.
Whereas like if your first franchise was Ghostbusters and you watch Girl Ghostbusters and you're like, this is horrible. They made 2 other films like this before? No way, bro.
Oh, no. Show the classics first, and then I would still highly recommend, you know, watch the classic Terminator and T2 before watching this. But you could still just go into here.
Watch it, bro. It's on Hulu. Watch it right now.
Yeah, check it out, y'all. You have a best person on set?
Tim Miller, the director.
Nice. That's a solid one.
He helped him and David Goyer, famous of DC. He wrote a lot of DC films, a lot of comic book films. David Goyer writes. He's really good at building worlds, but they rewrote a lot of his stuff for this film. James Cameron was heavily involved in the writing of this script. I got to give it to Tim Miller, man. He did a great job. Really, like even texted this to you. This is what I think Terminator would have been if they had the CG and the technology to make it in the 80s.
Yep. But we had to wait 3.5 more decades to get this.
We had to pass Judgment Day.
Yep, and we did.
Do you have a Best Person on Set award?
Yeah, it's gonna go to James Cameron. Shout out to him for coming back to this beloved franchise.
Yeah, he turned his back on T3 and didn't. I believe he didn't even watch Terminator Genesis.
He was just like, nah, don't want to see it. That's not my baby.
He thought they had ruined his story, which they kind of did.
Well, yeah. I mean, because
Genesis and Salvation were very, very bad.
He made this in 1988, the franchise. You know, before he was big, he was just an ambitious filmmaker. That's your baby, you know. And if you pass it on, if you pass the torch to someone else and they fucking put it out, yeah, you're gonna have some hard feelings.
I don't even know if he passed it for T3. I believe that they just didn't hire. I believe the rights of Terminator were bought by a different company.
That sucks.
And then they brought in a different, because remember, Terminator was a cheap film in the beginning.
Yeah,
it wasn't an expensive franchise. It didn't start making all of this money until Universal made a ride and started making, put Christian Bale in it. Now they got to put millions and millions of dollars into these films. I bet you the first one probably cost less than $500,000 to make.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And we have the technology to check if it was less than $500,000. So baddies, if you're listening out there, make a bet with yourself. If it's over $500,000, buy yourself an ice cream. But if it's under, punch yourself in the kneecap. But not too hard, because you don't want to do that if you're driving and swerve into a tree.
Arnold does punch himself in the kneecap in this film to kind of get his legs back in order.
There you go. And that was a purposeful...
Well, I will eat my hat, because that movie had a budget of $6.4 million.
And that's where we're going to end the episode, because we don't want to sound too wrong for too long.
It did make $78 million, though. I'm just saying, in comparison to the rest of the movies, it's very small.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's how I'll save myself.
But also, it was the late 80s. So, I mean, a good surplus of money.
The $0.4 million is just in cocaine.
I believe it, man. Those people were hyped on set. You mean telling me I'm gonna be a robot from the future?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're telling me James Cameron wrote this completely sober? No fucking way.
No, dude.
You don't think of like
if he was sober?
Robots coming from the future to kill you is the highest form of paranoia that only drugs can give you.
James Cameron and Stephen King probably snorting a bunch of coke, writing movies at the same time.
Stephen King for sure. We know for a fact Stephen King sucked up a bunch of cocaine.
You can see it in his face. He looks like a grain of coke.
See it in his writing. He writes in liquid cocaine.
Yeah.
His manuscripts are all...
This man is rich if he could get his hands on that much cocaine that he just writes with it.
Well, when you're white, you're white.
Yeah, and on that note, I think we are done with this episode. Baddies, thank you for tuning in. This has been It Can't Be That Bad podcast. Take it easy, y'all. Alejandro, any last words?
If the robots take over, we are on your side.
Don't.
Can't be that bad, oh, it 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 can't be that bad.